This short video is recorded in order to provide you with the technical skills and knowledge on how to create a stem and leaf plot using Microsoft Excel. By the end of this video, two objectives will be achieved. Firstly, you will understand what is the stem and leaf plot and why it is important to prepare a stem and leaf plot. Secondly, you will go through the experience of creating a stem and leaf plot using Microsoft Excel within a few clicks. The stem and leaf plot is a very effective method that is used to present ungrouped quantitative data graphically by dividing each observation into two parts. The left part of each observation is going to go to the stem side, which is the left side, and the right part of each observation is going to go to the leaf side, which is the leaf part. Let's try to visualize the stem and leaf display using this tree, where we've got a tree here, and within this tree we have so many stems. So let's imagine that this is one of the stems, and within each stem we've got so many leaves. So the stem and leaf plot is drawn using a vertical line that is going to divide each observation into two parts. The left side of the plot is going to represent the stem side, and the right side of the plot is going to represent the leaf side. This example includes the scores of 30 students in a statistics exam. The first student scored 75, the second student 52, the third student 80, and so on. This is ungrouped quantitative data. Now, if we examine this data set, we're going to notice that the lowest score is 50 and the highest score is 98. So all the observations in this data set are made up of two digits. To prepare the stem and leaf plot, it is recommended to split each observation exactly from the middle, where the left side is the stem side and the right side is the leaf side. Since the lowest score is 50, so the stems are going to start with 5, and since the highest score is 98, the stems will be prepared in an increasing order starting from 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, how do we read the leaves? We'll start with the first observation, the student who scored 75. If we split from the middle, next to the stem of 7, we're going to write on the leaf side 5. Then we leave a space. Then the second student scored 52. We are going to split from exactly the middle, and next to the stem of 5, we're going to write in the leaf side 2. We will continue in the same pattern until we reach the last observation, which is 98. Next to the stem of 9, we're going to write on the leaf side 8. What is the advantage of preparing a stem and leaf plot? When I had the ungrouped data set, as a professor, I couldn't get any idea about the performance of my students in this particular exam. But by looking at the stem and leaf plot, I'm going to observe that most of the students scored in the range of 70, where I've got nine students who scored in this particular range. I've got 3 students who scored less than 60. They failed in this particular assessment. So the good thing about the stem and leaf plot provides us with information about the distribution of observations in a data set without losing information on the original observations. Initially, I had in the ungrouped data set 30 students, and in my stem and leaf plot, I ended up with 30 values on the leaf side. I will take you now to the second objective of this video on how to create a stem and leaf plot using Microsoft Excel within a few clicks. This data set includes the scores of 45 students in a statistics exam. The first thing that we have to do is to sort the observations from the lowest to the highest. So once you click on data and then sort, then we want to continue with the current selection. I'm gonna click on sort, and then it's going to sort them from the smallest to the largest. I'm gonna click on OK, and then Excel is going to sort the observations. The lowest score is 15, and the highest score is 99. Since all the observations are made up of 2 digits, then we will be splitting from the middle, and we will start by preparing the stems, and then we move to the leaves. I'm gonna use the statistical functions stored, and once you hit equal, you are trying to tell Excel to perform a function, and the function is to produce a specific value. Once you double click on the value function, we will tell Excel to identify the left digit for this particular value. The first score is 15, and I want Excel to write the left side of this particular value, which is going to be 1. And now once you type left, the left function is going to appear, and then I'm going to put the cursor here on my value, which is in this case B2, and then followed by comma, and the criteria here, I want Excel to provide us with 1 digit to the left side. And in this case, Excel is going to produce the stem, which is 1. Now, once you put the cursor here and you'll see the black plus sign, you can either drag or double click, and then Excel is going to produce the stems for all the observations in this data set. And as you see, the highest value is 99, where the stem is 9 for this particular value. Now, we will also use the sort function in Excel in order to identify the leaves. And the leaf of the first observation here is 5. But how can we produce this using Microsoft Excel? Again, I'm going to hit equal, tell Excel, in other words, to perform a function. What is my function? I'm going to tell Excel to produce the right digit, and then I'm going to select this value, and then I'm going to type comma, and then I want 1 digit from the right side, and then once you enter 1, you are telling Excel to give you 1 digit from the right side. In this case, it's going to produce for us the 5. Again, once I put the cursor here and I see the black plus sign, double click, and then Excel is going to provide you with all the leaves. Now, if you look, we can observe that there are 2 stems which are basically the same, 1. And I want now Excel to count how many leaves appeared within a particular stem. So I'm gonna now hit equal, tell Excel to perform a function. What is the function? Count if. And then I'm gonna put the cursor here on the stem, and then followed by colon, and then I'm gonna give a range. This is my range, the stems, and what is the criteria that I'm gonna use? I want to produce, and I want Excel to count how frequent each leaf appeared in a particular stem. So this is my function. Now, I want to use the absolute and relative value in order to freeze the array. So I'm gonna use the $sign here. So for this particular value, so it will not shift once I click down. Now, this stem of 1 has 2 leaves. The first leaf is 5 and the second leaf is 6. So next to the leaf of 5, we now counted this as the first leaf in the stem of 1. Now, if I put the cursor here till I see the black plus sign and I double click, I'm gonna notice now the leaf of 6 is counted as the second leaf within the stem of 1. So in other words, this function is counting how many leaves appeared within a particular stem. Like for example here, in the stem of 2, we noticed that we've got 3 leaves, and then Excel is counting the number of leaves. For example, In the stem of 9, we've got 4 leaves, and Excel is counting that we have 4 leaves. It's time now to graph the stem and leaf within a few clicks using Microsoft Excel. What we have to do is to select the stems, and we will be very specific in our selection, and then we have to hit Control and select the leaf position. So the leaf position will be selected. So let's redo the selection. So this is the first part that I have to select, and then hit Control, and then we will be selecting the leaf position. We have to be very specific in our selection. And now we will click on the Insert tab, and then we've got so many charts. We've got Insert Scatter. Once you click on the arrow, please choose the first option, Scatter. And now we have to adjust our values on the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. Please click on Select Data, and then we have now to click on Edit in order to edit the observations. We've got an X-axis and a Y-axis. On the horizontal axis, we will be presenting the leaf positions. So I'm gonna now remove the observations and then select the leaf position here. And on my vertical axis, I will be displaying the stem. So we will erase the current selection and then replace it with the stems that we do have here. Let's see what happened. Once you click OK, once you click another OK, you're gonna observe now that you've got the stems here on the vertical axis, and these are my stems. But I'm gonna now put the cursor here and then right click, and I want to format this axis, and then I have now to adjust my values where we've got bounds and the minimum value of the stem. Let's start with minimum value 1, and the maximum value, the highest score is 99. So let's start, let's go with 9. And what we want to do indeed, we want to display them from the lowest to the highest. So if you check this box, it's going to show the values in reverse order. So it starts with 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9. Now, let's do some editorial things here. We want to click anywhere on the graph. So now click on the delete button, and then you'll be able to delete the horizontal lines. We want also to delete the vertical lines. So if you click on any line and then click on delete, you will delete them. We don't want to have any horizontal axis. So let's put the cursor here and click delete, and now we managed to graphically present the stems. We want now to present the leaves on the graph. Now, if you click on any dot and then right click, please, and then choose Add Data Labels, and then it's going to show you the data, and these are indeed the stems. So if you click on any value and then right click, and then we will basically format. And what we are going to do, we will choose the first option. The values that we want to present here are the values of the leaves. So if you check this box, the values are from specific cells. So we will be selecting now the values that we have in the leaf here. And click OK. And now, if you look here, we've got 5. We've got 6, but we want to get rid of the values of the stems, which are the Y values. So please uncheck this box and uncheck also the box that says Show Leader Lines. Now, we want to do some artistic things, like we have a vertical line and we want to display the vertical line in a solid way. So if you click on Fill on Line and then choose, for example, the fill to be solid fill, and then you can choose any color. Let's choose, for example, the black color. These are artistic issues. And let's, for example, increase the width of the line here. Let me just click on this, and then we have a solid line here. This is the line. Let me just adjust this is indeed the fill. Now let's choose the line. This is the line, so let's choose solid line, and the color is indeed black. And now we can, for example, increase the width to 2 points, for example. Let's make it 2 points. Okay, and now the last thing that we have to do is to get rid of the dots. Click on any dot, and then click on marker here, and then it asks you, would you like to have a border? Please choose no line, and click on the fill and also choose no fill, and the dots will disappear. So this is the stem and leaf plot. We can change the title, stem and leaf plot, that represents the scores of my 45 students. By looking at this, I'm going to observe that most of the students scored in the range of 70, and then I'll be able to get more information about the distribution of the observations in my data set. This is a very good example that I intended to add using 2 digits. Suppose now you have another example where some of the observations are made up of 2 digits and other observations are made up of 3 digits. We've got the scores of another class where we've got 45 students. The first thing that we have to do is to arrange the observations from the smallest to the largest. So I'm going to click on the data tab and then sort, and then we want to continue with the current selection sort, and then we want to sort from A to Z, and then sort anything that looks like a number as a number. Click OK, please. For this particular example, I intentionally defined all the values that I have here as text for a reason, because I wanted to add the 0. So if you click on the cell format for any cell, you will find out that this cell is defined as a text, because we want to add the 0 on the left side that doesn't add any numerical value to the number, but it will be very helpful when it comes to splitting it into the stem and leaf side. So the lowest score here is a 12, and the highest score is the score of the student who scored 100 out of 100 in this particular exam. So if we want to split here, the best thing on the stem side is to split by having 2 digits on the stem side and 1 digit on the leaf side. So I'm gonna hit equal, tell Excel to perform a function, and I'm gonna choose the value function, double click, and then I will start with the left side, and this is the left side, and the value is B2, comma, and now I want to produce 2 digits from the left side that are going to go the stem side. Of course, I have to add another parenthesis, and now the value 0 on the left side, as I said, is not shown here, but once you put the cursor on the black plus sign and double click, it's going to produce all the stems starting from 1 till we reach the highest score, and we've got 10. Now, we'll do the same thing. We want to produce the leaves, so I'm gonna now hit equal, tell Excel to perform a function, and I want Excel to give me 1 digit on the right side of each value here. So I'm gonna select my value and then type comma, and then I will only need 1 digit on the leaf side. And now I'm gonna put the cursor here till I see the black plus sign, double click, and then Excel is going to produce all the leaves. So the first value has a stem of 1 and a leaf of 2. The second score 17 has a stem of 1 and a leaf of 7, and so on. And the last value has a stem of 10 and a leaf of 0, which is 100. Now we will use the same function in order to find the position and count how many leaves appeared within a particular stem. So we will count F, and then I'm gonna now choose the stem, and then my criteria will be the stem, and then I want to produce and count how many times each leaf appeared within a particular stem, but please make sure to use $sign in order to freeze the array or your selection. And now I put the cursor here. I'm gonna wait till I see the black plus sign, double click, and then Excel is going to count. Now, we have already the leaf position, which is selected. So I'm gonna click Control and then select also the stems in the same pattern in order now to start the graphing process of the stem and leaf plot. So I'm gonna now click on insert, and then I'm gonna now choose the insert scatter and use the first graph. In the same way, we want to select the data and edit what we have on the horizontal axis should be the values of the leaf position, and what we have on the vertical axis should be the values of the stems, as you see here. So I'm going to select the stems and click OK, and now click OK, and now we want to adjust the values of the stems. Put the cursor here and then choose the axis option, and then axis option, and then the lowest value is the score of the student who scored 12. So we will start with a stem of 1 as a minimum value, and the maximum value is a stem of 10. So let's go with a level of 10. And what we will do, we will hit the box here, and we're gonna check the values in reverse order. So Excel is going to arrange them from the lowest to the highest on the stem side. Now we also can adjust the line now. So we're gonna click here on the line and then choose solid line, and then we can increase the width of the line in 2 points. This is the vertical line that is going to separate between the stem side and the leaf side. And now let's put the cursor here on any horizontal line, click delete, and put the cursor on any vertical line and then delete. And we don't need to have any horizontal axis. And now we want to display the leaves. So if you click on any dot and then right click and then add data labels, and then we need to adjust the values that we have here. So if you click on any value and then right click and then choose format data labels, and then we want to give values from cells. So I'm gonna check this box, and now I want to give the specific values of the leaves that we have here. So I'm gonna now select the leaves and then hit OK, and I want to get rid of the X values by unchecking the box here, and get rid of the show leader lines by unchecking the box that we have here. Now we've got, for example, the first stem is 1, and we've got 2 leaves, 2 and 7. The last thing that we have to do is to remove the dots. So click on any dot and then right click, and then what we have to do, we will choose the option here, fill and line, and then click on marker, and then we don't want to have any fill, so let's make it with no fill, and we don't want to have any border, and let's make it with no line. And this is the stem and leaf plot. I can add a title and say, for example, this is a stem and leaf plot of students' scores in the final exam. And as I said, now I can interpret more the observations, and I can tell that most of the students scored in the range of 70, from 70 to 79. I've got also students who scored in the range of 80 and 60. And then I'll be able to figure out that I've got one student who scored 100 out of 100, and I've got some students who didn't do well. So this is the advantage of preparing a stem and leaf plot, where you can organize and graph your quantitative data without losing information on the original observations. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that the information are very helpful. In order to disseminate knowledge, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe in my channel. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.